Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a life crafted layout using the Citrus Twist Sunshine collection. And I have some Color Cast Design acrylic here that I wanted to use, but it didn't quite end up fitting. I do have some Color Cast Design wood veneer that I end up incorporating, but unfortunately I could not make the acrylic work. That's okay though, because this page comes out adorably and I will just use it on a different page. So I am trying to decide what color scheme I want here. And I decide we're focusing on Starbucks today. So this green is perfection. It was baby's first pup cup. So I'm going to use this black and white and green color palette. I am going to incorporate some of that blue as well because I did not have quite enough black and white and green to make it work. There's going to be little pops of pink too because she is my baby girl, and there's pink in the papers. So that's where we're starting. I wanted to use this bookmark. Unfortunately, the bookmarks are not 8.25, they're just 8 inches tall. So I couldn't make it just part of the background like I was thinking. So you can see me contemplating here the size differential. And what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to use this black and white paper plus one of the blue papers, or that light blue paper, and I'm gonna create a photo mat out of the green bookmark instead of incorporating it into the background itself. So I decided I'm going to bust out the paper tears because that's always a great way to instantly add some texture to your page. And I'm still contemplating working it in to the background, but that's not what's going to happen here. Instead, I'm going to stick this down to the floral over here because I want that to be the right hand side of the page. Then I'm going to trim it off so that it's 5 inches, and that leaves me with a 2-inch strip here that I'm going to do the same thing to. I always like to have the center of my page have matching patterns down the middle when I have to extend my papers to be 5 inches. So I just really like that look, so I do it often. So then I'm going to mat this photo on this bookmark, which is of course going to need to be trimmed. So I'm going to trim off the very bottom piece that had that second word block or blank block. Then I'm going to put this underneath the paper tear so that it's kind of incorporated into the page rather than floating on top of it. Then I'm going to repeat the process with this photo on this side. So initially I put this down here on the side because I thought maybe I would just, have a little spot of green on the side. But then I find this card right here and it was perfect. So instead of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the card so that it looks longer than a 3x4 and matches the left-hand side. It's not going to be quite as long. It's going to be a mirror though. So I'm going to stick this down, and then I'm going to repeat the same process that I did before, and I'm going to stick it underneath the paper tear on the inside edge. Then you won't even really see that it was pieced together, so no big deal. So I'm going to put this down. All right, that is the base of my layout. Now I can start adding in embellishments from the collection. I pulled out a bunch that I thought I might use. Again, I'm trying not to add too much color to this page. I already have blue, green, pink, black, and white, so that's sort of what I'm working with here. These clouds from the ephemera were perfect to add just a fun and different shape to the page. And I thought about using the little tags that are included in the collection, but they didn't end up on the page, so oh well. I always pull more things out than I actually use. That's just kind of how I work. I audition things until I either decide that I am going to use them or I'm not going to use them, and then I put them aside. I want to make sure that I get little pops of pink on this page to match the pink labels on the card. I want to add this, but I don't know where yet. There are 2 little circles in the kit that they were on puffy stickers and in the ephemera. I wanted to include both of them, so I'm going to have this heart on this side, and I put the star on the other side. I just like little matching bits and bobs here and there. They don't have to be perfectly matching, but they do sort of echo each other. I decided to discard that floral, even though I did want to use a floral, because it was orange and I didn't want to incorporate another color. I thought that the extra colors in this were not that big of a deal though, since they were so minimal. You can see how quickly this page is coming together. It was super fast. It's a little bit, at this point, I'm looking at it going, it's a little bit too clean for me. You know me, I'm a big, messy, messy page scrapbooker. I like all the things on my page. So I'm going to add a little bit more to it, but first I'm going to add in my title with the stamps that are also from Citrus Twist. And I'm going to add, the title is going to be Baby's First Pup Cup, and I'm going to stamp in this Be Mine Catherine Pooler ink because the pink matches perfectly with the pink highlights on the page. So I'm pulling out the letters that I need to start with. And I like to stamp whole words at once whenever possible. It's just as faster for me. So luckily pup and cup are almost exactly the same. I can just take the C off and then take the U off and we're good to go. I'm not going to use the alphabet that came in the collection for my smaller portion of this title because A, it's not smaller, and B, it's yellow. So I'm actually going to pull out some mini letter stickers that I have from the Citrus Twist shop, and we're going to put Baby's First Pup Cup. And then you can see that I have a little bit of awkward space around my title that I need to fill in, just the way that the letters went down. So I'm going to pull in some of these heart puffy stickers and I'm going to frame Pup Cup with them. But man, it takes me forever just to decide which colors I want to use because the color representation on the sheet did not come in, like the colors specifically that I was using, did not come in enough like size variation for it to fit well around around the title. So you can see that teal blue there is just a little bit off. It's not quite the right blue. I'm going to use it anyway, but it needs to be separated from that blue cloud because then you could really obviously see that they were two different colors. While I'm contemplating using those hearts and trying to figure out how to make them work, I'm going to add in my ColorCast wood veneer. I always add things in as I'm thinking, like things that I know where they're going to go or how I'm going to use them, and it gives my brain a little break from trying to solve the problem that I have that I'm currently working on. I actually do that in life in general. I often come up with design solutions while I'm running or washing dishes and that kind of thing. It's just how my brain functions. So you'll often see me abandon one thought process to work on a different thought process while I'm solving that problem. So sometimes my layouts can look scattered and the way that I scrapbook looks scattered, but it's just because that's how my brain functions. Is anyone else's brain like that? Does your brain work on problems while you're doing things that you don't need to think about? Because mine does. The last thing that I'm going to add is some pink watercoloring to the edge of this white paper. I felt like it was just a little too clean, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It was just a little bit too sparse for my own personal design style. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of pink watercoloring along the edges, and I think it adds a fun little detail to the page. It's really easy for me to get carried away and add too much, so I'm trying not to do that and just stick my watercoloring along the edge of where the actual green cards are. So I'm trying not to go all the way to the top and bottom on both sides. I'm just trying to go along the edge of the green portions. And then I'm spreading it out a little bit lighter along the inside edges so that it looks like it's not completely dense just along the edge. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. And there is a link to Citrus Twist and ColorCast in the description box below. And I will see you next time. Thank you.